Next speaker, next storyteller, I should say, is Karen Holtzblatt. And she's going to talk about one woman's journey into the professional life that she has now. So please welcome Karen Holtzblatt.
Hi, guys. I've been ordered to stand in a spot. When I was 5, my mother tells me it was my first trip to kindergarten. She said, "Karen, we'll walk together." I said, "No, Ma, I'm going with Debbie." Debbie was the older kid down the block. Debbie was my first guide. Now, as many of you know, I developed Contextual Inquiry, Contextual Design, ran a consulting company, run a consulting company for over 25 years, and I'm now spearheading the Women in Tech project. I'm always working with young people, and endlessly they come up to me and they say, "Karen, how do you do it? How did you start a company? Why did you invent contextual design? How did you get the idea? How can you walk in a room full of men?" And I have no idea how to answer. So for this story, I thought about it. And of course, being me, I created a construct, okay? What you have to understand is that I started observing human behavior and experience and coaching people when I was 8. My mom said that I read all of Freud by the time I was 12. My first large speaking thing like this, I was 12 in an oratory competition. I have been synthesizing, presenting, and coaching and reinventing processes for every educational program or setting I have been since I can remember. So when you say to me, "Karen, how do you do it?" I have no idea how to answer that question. The reality is that we are all given a set of gifts. Those happen to be mine. I don't take credit for those gifts. My job is to figure out what to do with them to put good things into the world. So how do I answer the questions of the young people? Well, all I am is raw material. In fact, when I'm at the company and they have a hard problem, I say, "Do you want to put it in the machine?" That's me. And see what it spits out. But I would never have done anything that I did without the people. And one of those kind of people are guides. Just like with Debbie, when I go into a new setting, I'm always looking for who has been there already, who can give me an idea of what is going on. At college, I met my to-be husband. He was a year older than me. He was also in psychology. He was an expert at research, and he helped me understand the lay of the land. So who was my guide to Kai? Through a longer story, I ended up at digital equipment company in the Sioux group with John Whiteside, Dennis Wixon, and a whole slew of other people. And my very first paper at Kai was co-written with John Whiteside and John Bennett from IBM. They taught me what Kai was all about. My very first tutorial was with the two of them. They taught me what worked, what didn't work, and they taught me the lay of the land. But if all you have is guides, that's not enough, because the only way I work is with partners. Now, my first partner in Contextual Inquiry was Sandy Jones at DEC. She was in the Sioux group. She understood the company, engineers, the products, how the organization worked. I didn't know any of that. But she loved what I was talking about. And so we started doing it together. We named it together. Because, you know, my great name that was a rejected paper from Chi was called Phenomenological Research Methods for the Study of Human-Computer Interaction. And then we brainstormed until we came up with Contextual Inquiry. I think it was a better pick. Now, my lifelong partner, my business partner, is Hugh Beyer, who co-wrote the books with me. And one of the key things you have to understand about partners is they're really puzzle pieces. A partner should complement your skills and your personality. So I was all about human behavior and experience, and the talking head, yeah? And Hugh, who would never be called a talking head generally, he was a tech guy. He knew how to code, he understood products, he understood underlying technology, and he could write, because I couldn't write myself out of a box in the beginning. And the way we wrote the first book is that I talk, he took notes, then he wrote it up, then I edited, and we did it again. It was exhausting. This last new book, we co-wrote together because I got better. So a partner has to fit you. If you don't have to be perfect in everything, that's silly. What you have to do is find out who wants to be up to something with you. And when it was time to figure out design, David Rondeau, my design chair, he and I invented what the design principles were, and so on and so on. But that was not all. Guides, partners, coaches. A coach gives you a new perspective. A coach kicks you in the butt. When I don't know what to do, when I can't get out of a box, when I want to go someplace else, I got to find a coach. And I have many of them. So when DEC was having a problem, you know, it was one of the downturns, and they had canceled our project, you and mine, we had to decide what to do. Now, I had been coming to Chi for, I don't know, 5 years or so by then. And Dad Bricklin, who invented the spreadsheet, was a friend of mine. And Dan said to me, Karen, everybody at Chi knows what you're doing. Why don't you just start a company? He said, Karen, there is no more job security. All there is today is skill security. But if that's all he said, I don't think I'd have done it. And then he said this, what are you going to do, Karen? Suck on the teat of Mother DEC for the rest of your life? And there was the kick. All of my coaches kick me out of my comfort zone. They tell me a new way of thinking. They give me ideas that I didn't have before, and so I look for them. I have business coach. When I started the company, I talked to my brother, who was in sales and marketing, for 4 hours to understand, well, what is that? Because now I have to do it. And he said, Karen, you're up on a hill, and there's beautiful sheep down there. Now, you could run down real fast, and you might catch one. But if you go down slow, you pet them, you're gentle, well, maybe a whole bunch will come with you. In other words, if you want to sell, it's about a relationship. Now, guides, partners, coaches, that's not enough either, because the last bunch of people that I had to have were all of you. Supporters, people who really believed in what I was doing. Because after all, if I stand on the stage and no one thinks it's a good idea, it tells me right away that I should stop talking about it, yeah? Supporters are people that get excited about what I'm trying to talk about. Supporters, by the way, somewhere out here is Jonathan Gruden. Jonathan Gruden was excited about what I was talking about, and he invited me to MCC to teach everybody about contextual inquiry. And that is how the first contextual inquiry course got created. And I delivered it through a microphone because I was hoarse to the 8 people in the room. If I don't have people telling me that I'm doing the right thing, if I don't have people coming with me, then I don't know I'm doing the right thing. So when I started the Women in Tech project to address the issues of women in our field leaving, I was gratified that a lot of you wanted to come on that journey with me. But I'm not going to make it there, not unless I have guides, partners, coaches, and a lot of supporters. So thank you all for being with me in my journey.